next, another intro. Up next we have Marcia Belsky. Marcia Belsky grew up an awkward, curly-haired buffoon in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She has been performing stand-up in the Northwest for the past 4 years. She has performed in the last 3 Northwest Women's Comedy Festivals, the 2012 All J No Dick Comedy Festival, the 2012 Bridgetown Comedy Festival. She can be seen regularly performing in Portland, Oregon, as well as other parts of the Pacific Northwest, such as Eugene, Salem, Vancouver, and Seattle, and twice in our garage. So welcome, Marcia Belsky.
This is so cool. They let me have a picture back here, like, so innocent, so young. She didn't even know she was going to be an avid breakdancer at Jewish summer camp for 8 years. How are you guys? You guys doing good? Good. Give it up for your producers, Shannon and Jack, one more time. I'm always blown away by this. This is awesome. Like she said, I'm Marcia Belsky. I was raised Jewish in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm okay. I've never actually had to go to therapy, so don't worry about me. But it's really like, I've lived in Portland for about 4 years. I've been doing stand-up for about 4 years. And I love living up here, but Portland sort of has its own weird issues for me, you know? Like, for example, the bike culture. I'm totally for. I am 100% for the bike culture. I love it, I like it, but I personally don't ride a bike. I don't ride a bike. And the only reasons are that I am unfathomably incompetent and inexcusably lazy. Those are the only reasons. But, you know, like I have this coworker who just sort of is constantly giving me shit, you know. He's always like, Marcia, you've lived here long enough, you know, you should get a bike. You should really get a bike. I mean, I ride my bike everywhere, you know. I'm an environmentalist. I like to do what's good for the environment. I ride my bike. I like to do what's good for the environment. You know, I sort of consider myself an environmentalist. I'm like, no, you have a DUI. There's a difference. That's a solar-powered ankle brace that I see. Let's save a lecture, Kevin. It's true, like, I love living up here, but it's an interesting place, you know? Like, it's sort of hard describing what living in Portland is like to people who don't live here. Like, you know, I try and tell my family and friends about it, like, okay, here's a true story from Portland that happened to me. A few weeks ago, I went out to a bar with a girlfriend, and you know, this may be, like, not very classy, but I'm going to say the bar because it'll help some of you contextualize. It was the Triple Nickel, okay? So we go out, we go to have a couple drinks, catch up, I haven't seen her in a while, and we're sitting there, and it's one of these moments where I just couldn't understand how everybody wasn't noticing what's going on. And what happens is, we're sitting there, and I see these 2 guys walk in, you know, very similar looking, because all white men in Portland look the same. And I see them walk in, I see them walk straight to the bar together, I see them start pounding shots of whiskey just with each other. I see them start a bar fight with each other. I see them get 86 from the bar together, and I swear to God, I watch them walk out the door, get on a tandem bicycle, and ride away. That's enough, Portland. That is enough. I love this town, but there's an interesting culture here where, like, I don't know, Portland culture is sort of based around the idea that, like, everyone is the most unique individual ever. You know, like, everyone walks around and carries himself like they're, like, God's gift to individualism. It's like, no, you know who's the most unique individual I've ever met in my life? My roommate Megan, who I lived with in Oklahoma out of high school, who literally didn't drink water on principle because, quote, that shit don't taste like nothing, so... I mean, Megan lives by her own code. You know, I probably sound like a hater, but it's like, keep Portland weird, I get it. I just wish that, like, maybe we would stick to the more creative, funky keep Portland weird, as opposed to, like, creepy uncle incessantly whispering in my ear at Christmas weird. Like, maybe then. I like this town. It's interesting, though, like, it's interesting, for me, the biggest difference between here and Oklahoma are the police officers. You know, like, it's weird, like, the cops here yeah, I don't know, he pulled me over, I know I had lights on, I knew I needed to fix that, I just graduated from school, I'm totally broke, I'm working all the time, I have no money, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna need to fix, I'm sorry. And he's like, oh God, you must think I'm such a life's really hard, I totally understand, you know what, just go. I'm like, this is different. I really wish, Shannon was talking about how this is like a food culture type of town, but I'm sorry, I really wish people in this town would stop telling me they like food as if it's something interesting and special about themselves. Yeah, you're a human being. I like food too. Oh, you like good food? Thanks for the distinction. I went on a date with a guy one time and he looked me straight in my eyeballs and told me he was just sort of one of these people that thinks all the time. Yeah, tell me more about yourself, psycho. I'm intrigued. A lot of comedians talk about their dating lives. I will talk about mine a little bit. I have been dating more recently, and it's sort of weird, it's weird for me dating because I sort of don't understand how anybody dates because everyone knows their own flaws so intimately. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, how can I expect someone to be with me right now when I know about myself that I have mixed tequila and Capri Sun? More than once. I don't think that I can really have a relationship right now when my idea of getting my shit together is when I do my laundry on my day off. I like that reaction because that segues perfectly in the next. So I have a hard time dating because I'm very awkward and I'm not quite through my awkward phase, and I'm awkward in the way where I'm not scary awkward. I don't think. I hope I'm not pretentious awkward. I'm awkward in the way where technically speaking, I'm an adult and I still can't order a pizza successfully half the time. I'll go through the whole spiel and it's fine. It's is that it? That's it. All right, it's going to be $22.95. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. You too. Love you. I do it's weird since, growing up and stuff, I watch a lot of TV. And when you're dating more, I feel like you notice certain things more. And one thing that I notice more is that I despise the condom commercials that are on TV. I hate them. They have the whole, his, her, icy hot pleasure. I don't need my condom to be a mood ring. I really don't. It's I think if children were smart, they would have an ad campaign that's two meth head-looking people leaving a bar at 4:30 in the morning, and it's turning the corner, a guy puts his arm around her, creepy wink, and then it's just black screen Trojan, for the love of God. Or picture this, they're marketers, they have to market to audiences, so maybe it's two young people, and they're gorgeous, and they're happy, and they're skipping, and they're in love, and one of them's probably half black because Trojan isn't racist. And then it's scene change, the guy's leaving an STD clinic, he's crying. Scene change again, the guy's at home, he's itching his junk. Still crying. He's definitely still crying. On the bus, crying, at work, just imagine 2 minutes of him crying. And it's slow fade out into white screen, gospel choir comes in. Genital herpes, easy to catch, hard to control. Trojan, because herpes are forever. I'm gonna get out of here because you guys have so many good performers to see tonight. I'm so excited to be a part of this show. I like to talk about being from Oklahoma and stuff, because it leads to interesting experiences, I was raised in the Bible Belt, Jewish, around a lot of evangelical Christians, and which was weird because they were always trying to convert me to their religion, and in my head I'm always I don't know, I always felt evangelical Christians were the weird kids God made Jesus invite to his birthday party against his will. But I grew up around a lot of that, and so I had this very interesting moment of growth when I lived in South America last year for a while. And before I left for South America, I was always very confident and secure in the fact that I'm one of the good Americans. Does that make sense? You know, like I don't like these assholes that everyone hates. You know, like I'm not like this woman that I saw who was a member of the Tea Party that I saw in Oklahoma a few years ago, and she had a t-shirt, and it had a picture of Obama, and a picture of Hitler, and a picture of Obama's hope symbol, and a picture of the swastika, and it said, quote, "Hitler gave good speeches and had a symbol too, ... And I was like, okay, I'm Jewish. I'm not sure if, like, those things in particular, like, my biggest problems with Hitler, you know? Like, I'm not sure if I'm against, like, symbols and oration in general. Maybe just genocide. But, like, I'm not that, you know? I'm never gonna be that. I'm not some ignorant, arrogant, culturally centric asshole. But I am. And I realized that when I was living in South America and I heard the woman I was staying with speak to her dog for the first time in Spanish, and for some reason my first very strong internal reaction that I could not squash was like, how do I tell her that her dog doesn't speak Spanish? Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Marcia, proof that people are actually from Oklahoma.